Okay, we are rolling. Champions of Champions boxing talk here. Anthony Joshua v Alexander Povetkin. Post-fight video. Now, my prediction video I thought I uploaded, but it's still on this file and I forgot to unload it. How stupid. My prediction was Anthony Joshua to stop Povetkin for the first time in his career in 9 rounds. And it happened in 7. Not bad, but a bit off. Right, so Povetkin, fantastic start, good hand speed, landing combinations, won the first round for me. Anthony Joshua scraped the second, Povetkin for me the third. Once again, I thought he landed the crisper, cleaner punches, and he was beating Anthony Joshua with the hand speed to the punch, and closing the space pretty well. Where are we? The third round. The fourth round, sorry. I thought Anthony Joshua won the fourth. I gave Povetkin the fifth. I once again gave Anthony Joshua the sixth. I had an even fight at round 6, let's just put it that way. I disagreed with Carl Froch, who had Joshua ahead. I disagreed with Sugar Ray Leonard. I agreed with Paulie Malignaggi, whose card was similar to mine during the contest. The standout punches, the flashy punches, were from Povetkin and what seemed the effective punches. Povetkin came and gave it a real go. I knew he would. I knew he'd be dangerous early because at 15 stone you do have speed at the heavyweight limit, right? And this guy has got experience. He was always going to be dangerous, in my view, early. Ask David Price. But there was a punch in this fight. And there was a punch in Luke Campbell's fight tonight, who he won on points, that only was mentioned once on the Sky commentary, and everybody else, Johnny Nelson, Dylan White, etc., never brought this punch up. Carl Froch. It was not a bad performance from Anthony Joshua. It was a good performance, and I'll tell you why. He was getting what he wanted out of even rounds he was losing, and this is why. Anthony Joshua, in rounds 1, 2, 3, all the rounds, was landing a power jab to Povetkin's stomach all the way through. And bit by bit, that punch was squeezing the air out of the Povetkin balloon. Slowly but surely. This is a punch that went unnoticed for much of Floyd Mayweather's career. But it worked dividends for him. That's how he slowed Marcus Maidana down in the second fight, right? Can you imagine a heavyweight 17 stone 8 pounds of muscle and power like Anthony Joshua hitting you for 6 rounds with that punch? It looked like a little tap on television, but it breaks you down slowly. And Anthony Joshua, with that punch in particular, was methodically getting to Povetkin as the fight wore on. This was the honey punch of the night for me. It looks so average when you consider this is one of Floyd's signature punches. It sounds boring, doesn't it? But it works. When on television, that looked a boring punch from Anthony Joshua. People would be sat at home screaming, "Where's the power shots? Where's the power shots?" The method was he was going to bring them. Once Povetkin was so sick of taking that punch, he dropped his hands low, and we knew it was coming. As early as the 6th round, which even the tie-up for me, Anthony Joshua landed a very decent right hand, which buckled Povetkin like Povetkin was buckled by David Price. Then in the 7th round, after Povetkin taking that shot to the belly all the time, that downward jab, he lowered his hands, and lo and behold, then Anthony Joshua comes over with the right hand, stuns Povetkin badly, follows it up by a combination and a wicked left hook. Down goes Povetkin, and Anthony Joshua, say what you want about him, he's one of the very best finishers you'll see. He's up there with anyone in terms of finishing. And I don't mean swinging wild punches like Deontay Wilder. I'm talking about measured, accurate combinations. Povetkin was finished then with a left again and I think a right, and that was all she wrote. But again, that punch down below sickened Povetkin. The jab to the stomach, round after round. Povetkin probably took it very easy the first round. But Anthony Joshua knows that just like with money, the more you save, the more it compounds. And in the end, it explodes. Anthony Joshua was putting money in the bank with that shot early on. And in the end, Povetkin was breathing a bit more. He's older as well, so that would have played a key. The hands come down, and then Anthony Joshua took his chances. Because Povetkin was successful in rounds and landed his shots, at the highest level, people are going to say, Anthony Joshua, he took some shots tonight. The higher up you go in the pyramid, the more likely you are to be hit because you face better fighters. You know, Povetkin is an ex-world champion. He's only ever been beaten once, and he's never been stopped, right? Just think about that for a minute. He's known as having a quality left hook. He's known as having good body punches. Now, Anthony Joshua kept him away from his body. Povetkin needed to get to the body to me. But Anthony Joshua reversed it. He was the one that jabbed to the stomach that stopped Povetkin coming inside, right? The higher up, as I said, the more punishment you are going to take. But this was a measured Anthony Joshua tonight. This was an Anthony Joshua that was patient, calm and collected. He almost looked as if to say, you can have your success. It will slow for you. And let's see how you deal with mine. And Povetkin could not deal with his. Prime Povetkin went all the way with a primer, Vladimir Klitschko. Nobody has stopped Povetkin. But Anthony Joshua did tonight. With variety of work. The key, the jab to the stomach. Took the wind out the sails. Remember that. He knew that Povetkin would not be on his chest. Even though he's an attacker and a come-forward fighter and does that very well, he gave Anthony Joshua just enough space to keep getting that shot in, And in the end, as I said, it paid off with interest. Real interest. And then the rest of what Anthony Joshua had could come into play once the hands dropped, trying to protect the stomach instead of the head. It was sort of executed to perfection. Patience is a virtue, as they say. Everything comes to he who waits. And a knockout is inevitable when you've took shots to the body and you drop your hands. Luke Campbell didn't knock his opponent out tonight, but I thought he did a very similar thing. A jab constantly to his opponent and a right hand to his opponent, and it kept the guy tentative from wanting to attack Luke. Povetkin was starting to look more and more tentative to me, going to attack Anthony Joshua as well. So it was a good display. Despite it being even, I thought it was very clever even, if you know what I mean. Because you can lose rounds in boxing, but if you get your licks off, if you can manage to do a little bit of what you need to do, even in rounds that you lose, it can help big time further down the road in the fight. And that is exactly what Anthony Joshua was doing. That was exactly what Luke Campbell was doing, although Luke Campbell's win was a lot more lopsided in terms of points. But you know what I'm saying. Invest in life. Invest in boxing. I've always been a guy that does believe in bodywork. I think destroy the body and the head will follow. Another British boxing legend, Ricky Hatton, was a prime example of that in winning multiple world titles. Roberto Duran, many guys have had success with it. Floyd Mayweather, you name it. Different styles of body punches, but they use it. And by God, if you ever took a shot to the solar plexus, even a jab, in a sparring session, time after time, it's easier said than done to keep the hands held up high and keep attacking round after round as though the fight's still early. I can't stress that enough. Does this make Anthony Joshua by far the best heavyweight in the world? Yes. Let's just be honest about it. Stavern and Luis Ortiz is on Deontay Wilder's record. It's been a long, long time before Tyson Fury even fought anybody remotely top quality. The next time he's in the ring, we'll see the true story of what he's got left. But Anthony Joshua, since Klitschko, has fought Takam, Parker, and now Povetkin. 3 world champions out of his last 4 fights. Povetkin, a gold medalist, never been stopped, an ex-WBA regular world champion. Klitschko, we know all about him. Joseph Parker, WBO heavyweight world champion. 3 world champions in his last 4 fights. That's then not including a win over a resurging, as we've seen lately, Dillian Whyte, right? Luis Ortiz has never been a world champion. Stavern is one of the worst world champions I've seen in the recent times, and there's been some iffy ones at that. They're Deontay Wilder's claims. And he's got Aldi Harrison, who he beat in the UK. Right? Tyson Fury. Has he beat one world champion, Klitschko? That's it. Now, the Tyson Fury that, reigned in Germany, we don't know if that guy will ever turn up again. We don't even know if he stayed in shape after that fight, whether that was just an anomaly and that Tyson Fury that night just, excelled himself. That Tyson Fury may never have come back even then. We've only got one night to see that from, really. That's the only evidence we've got that Tyson Fury is this Muhammad Ali figure that a lot of his fans try and make him out to be. He's fought a masterclass in one major world title fight. We don't know what would have happened in the rematch with Klitschko. I still would have fancied Tyson Fury. But Mickey Ward looks sensational in his fights against Arturo Gatti. But Arturo Gatti won at a much higher level than Mickey Ward and was major world champion. Mickey Ward wasn't. So, we've seen one night of glory from Tyson Fury, some excellence against Derek Chisora twice, but in terms of his contendership for being the best welterweight, you heard me, the best heavyweight in the world, that's all we've got to go off. We have more with Anthony Joshua. All right, he did have more of a struggle against Vladimir Klitschko. But I think he's got better with using the jab and decent, more improved fundamentals since. This, when Tyson Fury fought Vladimir Klitschko, that Vladimir Klitschko of that time via the Anthony Joshua of that time, that's difficult for AJ. But we don't know what that Tyson Fury would do with this AJ. This AJ is getting better. And I would be very surprised if all that time out the ring and all that bad living Tyson Fury's been doing, it is bad living. Don't underestimate what bad living can do to an athlete. Can you imagine an Olympian winning gold or silver, then disappearing and blowing up 10 stone in weight and then coming back to the Olympics and being the same? It'd be very hard. This is the level we're talking about at the top end of boxing. Right? We don't know what Tyson Fury has left. In fact, his last fight, he looked atrocious. Atrocious with a capital A. Wilder would wipe the floor with him that night. Joshua would wipe the floor with him that night. If Tyson Fury makes quantum leaps in his next training camp, anything's possible. This is life. He could go and school Deontay Wilder. At this point, I'm worried for Tyson Fury, I'll be honest. Because that did not look like a guy that looked ready for Deontay Wilder. But there are things that Tyson Fury can do and exploit. Fair enough. But Anthony Joshua has more than one way of fighting now. He used to be a bit more reckless to me. He used to be less measured. But he's not anymore. He's more patient. There seems to be more of a boxing IQ there. And more of an awareness of what to do when the rest of us think he's under pressure. Now, I've been a critic of some of the stuff about Anthony Joshua, but I have to call a spade a spade. Some of you out there want me to say that the Tooth Fairy will turn up and touch Tyson Fury and he will become Muhammad Ali the second again. Doesn't work like that. Get it in your head. Anthony Joshua, for what, say of it what you will, but whatever it is, he has been in the gym working like a Trojan while Tyson Fury has been at the bar. Anthony Joshua has been answering the bell for the next round while Tyson Fury has been answering the dinner bell. Right? It's a different kettle of fish. Completely. It's bound to tell at some stage. Now, Anthony Joshua, for me, is too politically correct. Yes, he's too politically correct. It annoys me because the world will sink as we know it with these sort of people. But Tyson Fury, to me, says it as it is. You may not like it, but that's the man. And he's sort of semi-honest. I won't say he's completely honest, because he said some stuff and I thought, yeah, right, dude. But I sort of like that sort of individual a bit more than the politically correct person. But political correctness and being politically incorrect has no bearing in a boxing ring. Doesn't matter who you or I like, what happens in the ring is a different story. And at the moment, Tyson Fury, that belly of his took a whooping with his drinking and his boozing and all that lot. It would take another whooping with Anthony Joshua going down below. Tyson Fury is a mover, we know that. But Joshua now has a punch to slow them wheels right down. Right down. And God help Tyson if his hands drop. Because I know who's the finisher of the two. And I know Tyson Fury might be seen to be having the better boxing skills, but the gap is closing. AJ's 28 and evolving. Tyson Fury, his last two fights, has looked deteriorated. And he's got to get that back. As I said, there's a chance he gets it back. And I hope he does, because we've got a good division. But right now, I'm sort of looking that Anthony Joshua might be ruling the roost at the heavyweight division. It's not the final seal on the deal yet. But it looked like it tonight, the way he finished a man who was never finished before. Alright, he's 39 years of age. But the Klitschko that Fury beat was no spring chicken either. Let's just remember that one. So, on to Deontay Wilder. Can you swing like a bat out of hell and not expect to be clinically touched up by Anthony Joshua, who is the better technician to me? Anthony Joshua seemingly can do everything Deontay Wilder can do, but more. Deontay Wilder can knock you out, but Anthony Joshua can knock you out. But I don't see the variety in Deontay Wilder's stuff, his boxing, that we see in Anthony Joshua's now. I don't see his frame. He's very, very slim for a guy that's so big. I don't think he's physically as imposing as Anthony Joshua. There's always a chance if Deontay Wilder can land the right punch. Of course he can win, because this is heavyweight boxing. But, there's been a lot of fights between a fighter down the years and a boxer down the years. And at the moment, I'm looking at Anthony Joshua and seeing him as more of a boxer than Deontay Wilder, who I consider more of a fighter. 9 times out of 10, the tough guys don't win fights. It's smart guys who win the fights, and boxers are considered the smart guys. But what makes a boxer absolutely lethal is when they've a finishing touch on top of it, which Anthony Joshua has. Deontay Wilder does get reckless. Povetkin is pretty fundamentally sound. He's got sort of a good defence. But even Joshua got through it with some shots against him. I think, arguably, Deontay Wilder is easier to hit. And people say, well, if Povetkin hit Anthony Joshua, so will Deontay Wilder. Well, it doesn't necessarily work like that. Anthony Joshua said in the post-fight interview that smaller guys can sort of sneak their punches through the middle more than some of the bigger guys he's fought. That's true. In the second fight of Lennox Lewis v Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis took some shots that Evander managed to sneak in because he's small, and he uses small as his gift to get in on the inside and use that speed to snap those punches in on Lennox, which other big guys, Akin one day, for example, could land nothing and then was scared to death and held on to Lennox Lewis for dear life. So, body types count, range counts, things like that, style, size. Sometimes being the smaller man is against you, but sometimes you can do little things as a small guy that are not plausible to do if you're a big guy. So, Anthony Joshua can be hit, yes, but by God, it's easier to hit Deontay Wilder. Will Deontay Wilder survive an onslaught? Because Anthony Joshua would not hit him once. We've seen that tonight. It would be combinations. And accuracy. On the money. Shots. Well placed. Deontay Wilder, and I've seen him do it. He's hit a guy and he's stunned a guy. And they're for the taking. And sometimes he's that desperate to finish. He's missed a whole bundle of punches while they're momentarily regaining their senses. But he's not as measured as Anthony Joshua. I'm thinking at this stage, it's a dangerous fight for Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, no question. But I'd give it 60-40 to Anthony Joshua right now if the fight happened. And Tyson Fury, as I said, has got work to do. But as I said, to me, it was a good performance tonight from Anthony Joshua. It was measured. It was what you do when fights are even. How you make an even fight turn your way is by damaging the other guy more than you're damaged. If you see what I'm saying. Making the best of what you don't get sometimes. And in the rounds that AJ lost, he was still sticking to the task of hitting that body with the jab. I'm losing this round, but more air is going to come out of that guy. More air. And that's what he did. And I do like seeing stuff like that. I am a fan of body punching. And I don't think I'm being biased towards the body punch tonight. I think in the Luke Campbell fight and the AJ fight, I thought that shot played dividends. You tell me if you're a Floyd Mayweather fan, whether that shot was effective for your guy or not against some of the best attackers of this era. And if you say it wasn't, I'm going to disagree. You, if you're an Anthony Joshua fan, you tell me, oh my God, Champions of Champions boxing talk. I've just watched the fight again. I didn't realise it, but by God, you are right. And you will find out I am right. Watch that thing again. And Anthony Joshua is the $1 million man, we know that. But he put the money in the bank. AJ and Povetkin produced a splendid fight. Not an all-time great war or anything, but it was a good contest. Well done, Povetkin. Still looked a quality fighter. AJ is going up another level to me. That was his best fight since the Klitschko thing for me. This is Champions of Champions Boxing Talk. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm out.